Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Close Report for Thursday, the 29th of January. We've got one trading day remaining now until the end of the opening month of 2026, and we did actually slide today for a second consecutive session. Not by much though, the ASX 200 down by a little over 6 points. That's a fall of less than 0.1% to 8,927 points. Of course, in the last couple of days, we haven't been helped by that hotter inflation data, which was out yesterday, which if nothing else has just raised the likelihood that the RBA is more likely than not to raise interest rates next Tuesday, which will be the first time it meets in 2026. And that would actually make it the first rate hike since November 2023 as well. The good news though is that we have certainly done quite well over the course of the month, unless something drastic happens tomorrow. In fact, we finished at the best levels of the session. We rebounded and bounced back from the session lows in the final 4 hours of the session. Also, it is a holiday shortened week, and over the past 3 days we are still up about 0.75%, and that's thanks to that big lift on Tuesday, which was our best gain in around 5 weeks. Now the US market also rose overnight, or at least some indices did. At one point the S&P 500 actually cracked the 7,000 point mark for the first time ever. We also had the US Central Bank, the Federal Reserve, actually keeping interest rates on hold last night. That was widely expected. Jerome Powell, the current chair's days are numbered though. Of course, he's probably going to be replaced in May when Trump is going to put in a new replacement for the coming years. Also, the focus over in the United States at the moment is on US earnings. So we have a bunch of big players, some of the Magnificent Seven, releasing their earnings early this morning. A mixed reactions to results. So Microsoft was down 6% in after hours trade. We had Meta, however, offsetting some of those declines. It actually rose 6.5% in after hours trade, and Tesla also up in after hours trade. So it wouldn't be surprising to see those three potentially having a bit of an impact on what happens to US markets this evening. Now, as far as sectors go, we had three that managed to lift today. Consumer staples, a defensive area of the market, was up about half. We had the materials and energy continuing to just shoot the lights out. What a month they've actually both had. In fact, the energy sector is up about 10% in January. Best month in years, actually. Another push higher in oil prices has been quite helpful here. In fact, oil hasn't been higher since around September last year, and that's partly due to a weaker US dollar and also some bad weather in the US on the Gulf Coast, which is affecting production and also exports. We also had the materials continuing a pretty solid run as well. They've hit another record high today. Now, outside of those three sectors, we had a sea of red, in particular some of those interest rate sensitive areas. So tech was down about 1.85%. We also had declines that were significant for the industrials, communication services, consumer discretionary and healthcare as well. As far as individual performers are concerned, we had Deep Yellow standing out, lifting about 12.4%. Uranium miners, just as a group, have been quite loved by the ASX recently. A bit more confidence returning for the commodity, and that's been reflected in how uranium prices have done recently. So they actually cracked $100 US a pound for the first time in a couple of years. Adding to this were some solid quarterly updates in the sector in recent times. So Deep Yellow is up almost 60% this month, but also Paladin and Boss Energy are up around that 40% mark. The ASX, the stock market operator, up about 7.5% today. A couple of brokers raised their share price targets for where they reckon the stock might be in 12 months' time. And this is a day after releasing some unaudited half-year results, but keep in mind it still is being hit by higher cost. Whitehaven Coal up around 3% today. It came out with a quarterly. Metallurgical coal prices have been improving. That's coal that's used in making steel, so its results were well received. And Bellevue Gold also higher today, up almost 6%. So what a run it's been for gold miners, but also gold prices. So a crazy move higher in the last day. In fact, gold actually cracked around $5,500 US an ounce for the first time ever this morning. Gold about 6.5% higher just in today's session. And gold is up 30% in January, something that is very rare as far as the move higher. So the US dollar's weak, safe haven buying's there, central bank buying is solid as well. So that certainly has been helping not only gold prices, but even more substantially, we've had some big gains in gold miners in the past year. As far as losers go, Viva Energy, one of them, it was down about 8.1%. Came out with a quarterly. improved sales volumes and margins, but the convenience business did quite poorly. Iluka Resources, another underperformer, 14% lower today. Now, there was a report overnight that President Trump might abandon plans to set a floor under rare earth prices. That would have otherwise been quite supportive for miners. So I guess they're essentially saying that it's they're acknowledging the complexities with setting that type of price and a floor under the price. IGO down 5.8%. It released a quarterly update today, including a drop in revenue for the lithium miner. And DroneShield down by around 9.1%. It also fell yesterday when the CEO shed some light on the reasons why he sold a $50 million stake in the company. But of course, remember, it still is up a very solid 16.5% just in January. So again, looking forward from here, we will certainly have a lot of focus on Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, and also IBM that all came out with their earnings. So they could very well impact markets. Looking forward to tonight, you've got the likes of Apple, Visa, and MasterCard, and also Caterpillar probably going to be in the spotlight. And tomorrow we've got international trade prices here in Australia. It's rarely a big market mover. We will get a bunch of quarterly updates as well. As far as currencies go, the Aussie dollar sits at around 70.8 US cents. So the US dollar, broadly speaking, is the weakest it's been in about 4 years. The Aussie also strengthening against both the euro and also the Japanese yen. On that note, everyone, have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.